is not in alignment with what the originator intended. So when we make adjustments, we have to know what we're adjusting to and what we're adjusting from. And so Paul gave us all this charge, and it's a command. It wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a suggestion. He said, you study. You know, he said things like, follow me as I follow Christ. Well, you have to know where Christ is going in order to know if Paul's not following Christ. He never said, leave it to the guy with the microphone. Now, I'm not challenging anybody who, you know, he's a very good friend of mine. He pastors a church. So I'm not coming against this dynamic of church, but what I am doing is bringing alignment to the principles of Scripture. So even this guy Melchizedek, he's identified as a king priest, and so what that means is that he has vertical responsibilities and he's got horizontal responsibilities, and they're embedded all in one. In the current dynamic, we have a priest, and he's got horizontal or vertical responsibilities. We have the king, separate entity. He's got horizontal responsibilities, and that's how, like when God wrote a book called Kings and Priests, as if they're separate identities. In Scripture, it's a compound word. It's a, you know, king hyphen priest. It's a melech kohen in Hebrew, meaning they're embodied all in one individual. This guy Melchizedek is so significant in Scripture that we know Jesus is the central figure in all of Scripture. So when it came time for Jesus to step into his priesthood, this is what he said. I'm not going to follow the Aaronic order. He said, but I'm going to follow the order of Melchizedek. Why? That's what God said he wanted. I think if God identifies what he wants, we should give him what he wants. You know? And so if we have something in place that doesn't necessarily fit the order, and one of the things that I like to do is I don't want you to walk away and say Calvin said. By the way, my name is Calvin.
Who's Calvin?
You know? And so if you're going to argue with what's in print. You know, so if you look at the structure that God said that he wanted, right? If you turn to Exodus chapter 19, if you're going to, so, you know, I love digital devices. You know, I'm an engineer by academic training. You know, part of what we had to do when I was in college, a long time ago, is we had to design the chips that used to power some of the early computers. So I understand the whole digital concept, you know. I'm by choice a Mac guy, so I got, you know, a MacBook, an iPhone, an iPad. I got Beats, you know what I'm saying? You know, right? I'm a disciple of Apple. You know? So I understand technology, but there's nothing like both. You know, so I want to encourage you, you know, use both. Don't be exclusive. Use both. You know, for me, you know, when I look at a book, one of the things I can't see in the digital device is what's surrounding what I'm reading. You know, and so the way God is, you know, something to get your attention, and he'll talk to you, take you on a journey. You know, because why? The Spirit of God said he's supposed to lead you and guide you. Where?